Welcome to the spring edition of Customer Quarterly. We are so excited to walk you through the latest product innovations in customer. I'm going to give folks 1 to 2 minutes to join before we get started. Thanks for joining us today. So let's get in. So spring is one of those moments where things that have been building quietly suddenly become very visible. So that's how I want to talk about this quarter at Customer. We've done a lot of foundational work that's now ready to show that we're so proud of and excited to do today. So thanks for being here, because what we're talking through isn't just about what we've shipped, but it's a meaningful shift in how AI works inside of our platform. So let's get right into it. Now, before we dive in, let me introduce the speakers. I'm Caroline Dankson from Product Marketing, and joining me is Amisha Sharma, and she leads our Customer AI for Reps product, bringing a lot of deep experience on AI, as well as how customer service reps actually work day to day in our platform. I'm also joined by Jillian Zada, our growth AI architect, who spends her time, a lot of time, with prospects and customers, talking about the incredible potential of AI inside of customer. So between the three of us, we're going to walk you through what we shipped this quarter, the thinking behind it, and what it means for your teams. So for the agenda, you're going to notice that what we'll cover is really starting with something very foundational for us is the AI reasoning engine. Then we'll also go into AI for Customers 2.0, which is our next generation of the product. Very exciting. We'll talk about the AI resolution rate, the MCP client, some new AI assistants that are now available in our platform, as well as what's new for AI for reps. Really excited about some of those new enhancements there. And then we'll talk about voice enhancements for customer voice, and then platform and integrations. So one quick note is that the session is recorded. So if you need to drop off early, not to worry, we'll share the recording for everyone who registered at the end of the session today. Before we get into features, I want to ground us in how we think about the platform. So Customer is built around a simple idea. So everything, conversations, data, history, and AI, it all lives in one place. And that's what allows us to do things differently. AI isn't bolted on, it's embedded across the entire customer lifecycle, and it has full context of the customer. And that's what makes the innovations you're about to see possible. So when we think about the enhancements we've made, particularly in AI, they really, come across as like these top thematic areas around smarter AI evaluation. So how do you test and trust AI with real customer conversations, not hypothetical ones? Continuous personalization. So how do you retain that memory of the customer so that you can improve your responses over time? And then clear insight from AI specific metrics. So, newer, stronger, more robust metrics that really tell you how AI is helping your service organization. And then easier optimization. So no longer having to dig through logs, but being able to get these recommendations on what to fix. And then finally, extensibility. So something new that we've started to talk about at Customer is that you can use Customer AI. It's native within the Customer platform, but we've also now extended it to work with other help desks, starting with Zendesk. So really excited to bring that innovation not only to Customer platform, but also to other help desks in the market. So when we look at the roadmap for the first part of this year, you'll see that AI becomes really foundational to CX. Success comes down to three things: how confidently leaders can govern it, how easily teams can operate it, and how consistently it improves the customer experience. So what we're building around is people who own the outcomes. That's really important to understand. And there's a lot of detail on the slide. But in our discussions with CX leaders, we understand that they need clarity and control. So AI-powered CX becomes like a more predictable business driver, not a source of uncertainty. And for admins, they need a platform that they can govern. So the setup, the observability, the integrations that enable adoption is really, really key here. And then for the reps themselves, they need to focus on the customer in front of them. So they don't, want to see a lot of friction in how they use AI. They look for guidance and the context that they need to show up prepared. So when these groups are working well, your customers feel it. And so faster resolution, faster, more consistent support. And that's the frame of everything we're building in the first half of this year. So I'm really excited to kick it off by talking about our AI reasoning engine. So this is something that we launched this quarter, and it's allowing AI to follow your business rules every time. So not just generating answers and not just deflecting tickets, but actually executing on your workflows in a reliable way. And that's, really important for us at Customer. And so, Amisha, I would ask you to join us and tell us more about this.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. Well, most platforms force you to choose between flexibility and control. We did not think that that was acceptable. The AI reasoning engine powering your AI gives you two forms of intelligence working together. You can allow the system to interpret nuance where it matters and define precise, guaranteed outcomes where it matters. And just as important, you remain in control. You do not need engineers to configure it. You don't need forward deployed teams. Your CX operations team can define these procedures, update logic, and shape how AI behaves directly. Because when time is on the line, independent controls really matter. AI reasoning engine. Our new AI reasoning engine is the intelligence layer underneath everything that we have built. Because in customer experience, AI has to do three things at the same time. It has to be personalized to the customer, rooted in real data, it has to be adaptive, and it has to be trustworthy. So, as we talk about AI reasoning engine, this is the foundation behind everything else. The AI reasoning engine is what allows AI to understand intent, apply business logic, and produce consistent outcomes. And that's the key shift. We are moving from AI that responds to AI that executes. And for you, that means more predictable automation, more confidence in outcomes, and much easier testing and iteration. Smart routing. We now also have introduced smart routing. This basically uses real time intent detection to send each interaction to the right resource, human or AI. Simple issues go to automation, complex or high value moments go to people, and this results in lower costs, greater flexibility, and better customer experience. It's not human versus AI, it's intelligent orchestration. And with that, I will pass it back to Caroline to talk about AI for customers.
Thanks, Amisha. Yeah, I think it's like just a lead in to we're talking about the first product to really take advantage of the AI reasoning engine here is our next generation of AI for customers. So I'm actually going to toss it right back to you to tell us more about it.
Yes. So most AI in CX today is built to respond. We are building AI that executes. That distinction is the foundation of AI for Customers 2.0. And it comes down to four things working together. Number one, AI reasoning engine. This is what separates intent from action. The AI doesn't just understand what a customer is asking, it knows what to do about it. Policies, compliance, refunds, escalations, enforced consistently every single time. Second, contextual data. Resolution is only possible when AI understands the full picture, not just the current ticket, but the entire customer journey across every channel. And context never resets. The AI always knows who it's talking to. Third, true human plus AI. When a situation needs a human, the handoff is seamless. Full context transfers with it, and when the rep is done, they can hand back to AI without losing a beat. No dropped context, no repeated explanations. Four, no code builder. Your CX ops team can configure reasoning logic, update procedures, and optimize AI behavior without engineering. The people closest to the customer have control over how AI behaves. And together, these four capabilities make resolution, not just response, and that is repeatable at scale. This slide, the next one, basically tells the story of what's actually changed and why it matters. First generation AI agents were built for predictable, repeatable issues. They could handle a return, answer a FAQ, execute a single step task. That was valuable, but it had a ceiling. The moment a conversation got complex, multiple steps, sensitive processes, edge cases, a customer who needed a human, those systems hit a wall. AI for Customers 2.0 is built for what comes after that wall. The core shift is reasoning with guided determinism. It's not just adaptive, it reasons through complex workflows while respecting the rules and policies your business has defined. That combination is what makes it safe to deploy on your hardest problem, not just the easiest ones. AI for Customers 2.0, and the biggest unlock here is procedures. Instead of building rigid flows or writing complex prompts, you can now describe workflows in plain language. How to process a return, how to troubleshoot an issue, how to handle a subscription change. And the AI follows that logic step by step. So you get the flexibility of AI with the reliability of deterministic workflows. And that's a huge shift in how automation gets built. Now, I'm going to pass it over to Jillian, who will bring this to life with a live demo. Over to you, Jillian.
Cool. Thank you, Amisha. All right, folks, let's actually hop into the product. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to show you a customer-facing experience, of course, but then we're going to hop into the back end and actually see how our new AI Agents for Customers platform supports the automation that we just saw. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start a new conversation and have a conversation with this AI agent. So I'm going to go through a retail use case and it will be a return, but I promise you the back end of this is incredibly interesting. So, pretty good question. Hey, can I return an item based on the delivery date? So I'm kind of asking what's your return policy, but I'm asking it in the way a customer might ask. They might not actually use the word policy. Now the AI agent is thinking, it's leaning into my procedures, my policies, and the information about how returns are handled at my company. So the AI is already tuned to help the customer. And so it's saying, yeah, I can help you with a return. A return window is 30 days from the delivery date. So, yes, the delivery date determines whether your item is eligible. So, yes, I want to return my last order, but I don't have the order ID. I just know I got it a few weeks ago and it was a sweatshirt. So the AI is going to reason over these details. It's not going to hone in on order ID and if I did or didn't provide it. And it's going to go through my order history in order to find that semi-recent order with a sweatshirt. Okay, so it found my order. It looks like I got a blue full zip hoodie. See, it didn't even matter if I didn't get that language right. And it was delivered on March 9th. So yes, this is it. Ugh, I didn't even write that right. For anyone who spent time with me, I am a terrible typist. So it's kicking off the process, like most good retailers. The company trying to figure out why I want to return it. Maybe this is good feedback for the product team or the warehouse team. And I'm going to say it's too big. Now it's probably going to make me do one more step. Yeah, I have to just confirm it's unworn and the tags are still attached. Yes, unworn. Okay. Oh, it even actually gave me the full refund amount after the return shipping fee applied. Great. And it's emailed the return label to my email address. There's nothing else it can help me with. Nope. That's it. Typed that correctly that time. Nope, that it. Actually, I didn't type that correctly. Poof. Who am I kidding? Wonderful. So let me actually switch my screen and I'm going to show you what's been happening on the back end. All right. So here we are. We are in the retail AI assistant that we were talking to. And for folks that were previously familiar with our original AIC or AI agents for customers concept, we relied on the concept of teams. Now, those teams were essentially made up of subagents with a supervisor, and they passed work back and forth to each other. And each subagent more or less was responsible for a use case or like a competency area or an issue that a customer might reach out about. What we did instead is that we said, you know what? Let's kind of change how we're formatting that. Let's actually streamline this even more. So it's very clear where guardrails, guidance, procedures, process documentation should go. And thus was born the idea of a main agent, which is put together through sort of a series of steps. So let me pop open Add Guidance and let me show you what is essentially the checklist for creating production-ready AI agents. So first, you got to connect your knowledge sources. Step one, grounding your AI agent in knowledge about your business. So that's technically been done. And I've leaned into this knowledge source, but I can add more. And that can be either public knowledge bases, so URLs, sitemaps. I could pull from Zendesk. I also have the ability to do MCP server connections, which I will talk about in a little bit, so that I don't just have to rely on the knowledge inside of customer. I can pull it from anywhere else in my organization, which is excellent. The next step, that's procedures. So those are the step-by-step instructions for handling conversations. So each procedure is outfitted with like 3 boxes. And this is the procedure that drove the interaction we just saw. So we give it a name so it can be identified. We explain when to use it. So when we understand the intent of the customer's conversation, we use this for the matching. And then the steps, or, if you were telling a human agent, hey, when somebody reaches out about a return, walk them through this process. That's what this is. So you can see here, I have to, once a customer provides a return reason, confirm the condition of the item. See, it asked me if the item was unworn and the tags are still attached. It followed the process. Now, because we're dealing with predictive generative AI, if I had offered that information to begin with, the AI could have skipped that step. It's not highly rigid like the chatbots of yore. So it wouldn't freeze up if suddenly, as the customer, I skipped to step 5. The AI would go back, make sure step 4 was taken care of, and then go to step 6. Now, another thing we did here is instead of loading tools kind of all at once, we made it possible for you in line to tell the AI agent when it should use one of its tools or its actions to complete some sort of action on the back end, like looking up a customer's order or updating a return for the customer, which is what happened to me. So you just @symbol it and you add a tool. Tools are managed centrally so that you can deploy tools in any procedure you want in as many lines as you want. Now, I do want to take us to tools. Let's leave and discard. I don't want to make any changes. I do want to take us to tools because there is one tool that drives a lot of this determinism that Amisha was talking about. And that is done with what we call custom code. But I don't want you to be scared of it. So the difference between a deterministic procedure and like a generative procedure is while generative AI is highly accurate, there might be moments in your business or moments in your customer experience where something needs to be 100% foolproof. Or there might be a number of different attributes or data points that the AI needs to synthesize in order to come up with its answer. By giving the AI a little bit of code, you're kind of hardening that process. You're making it entirely foolproof. And you're making it possible for all of those different calculations and configurations to, again, none of the details or the input slips through the cracks. That's what you can do with this code procedure. Now, I keep saying code procedure, but you don't have to write a single line of code. You just use the code tool generator to help you do that. So I want to expand my use case so that I can handle some ineligible returns. Let's say someone reaches out, it's past 30 days, they want to make a return, but we know internally that if the customer is in good standing, has never really returned anything before, and frequently, buys full price, let's say, you know what, we can honor a return here or there. We don't need a human agent making that judgment call. We can just run that calculation. So let's do it with a code procedure. So if the customer has a lifetime value of, let's say $4,000 at least, has never made a return, and is in the gold or platinum membership tier, then the customer qualifies for a return exception. If none of these are true, then the customer does not. And I wrote this in plain business language. I wouldn't say that this probably passes, a PhD level logic test, but the AI fixes that for me anyway. So it understands what I'm trying to accomplish, and it turns it into code for me. So as this runs, what I want to highlight here is that a lot of platforms that blend determinism and generative AI technologies, they don't make it easy for these two to exist alongside each other. Some of them actually make you code, and other ones kind of implement these hacks to make determinism work. So we've actually given you the real technology, but we haven't made it difficult for you to use it. And what we're hoping here is that we're actually putting power to build and deliver automated customer experience in the hands of the people who are the closest to the customer experience, you. So let's apply the code tool. There's that flow. Looks great to me. I can test it just to make sure that the logic holds up. And heck, here's the code. This is what it looks like. And how's this look to you? I mean, to me, I guess it seems fine, but I'm super glad I didn't have to code it because frankly, I couldn't. I'm going to save my changes. And then when I go back to my AI agent, I'm going to drop it right into my new procedures. So right here, So if the customer responds with dissatisfaction and believes their circumstance to be an exception to the rule, proceed with determining if the customer qualifies for an exception with check one-time return exception eligibility and save changes. Now, a few more enhancements that we've made to AI agents for customers, both the build process and the management process, is that we've decided to put the test console right alongside your procedure development. So you can do iterative testing and building as you're putting these procedures together. I found it really, really helpful when you need to sort of tweak behavior or I sort of see something I wasn't sure that I liked. I didn't have to deploy this agent in order to experience it. I was able to see what it looked like, tested how that brand felt, and then make the changes as I needed to. Now, if we just close a loop here on our checklist of production quality AI agents, we also can set the response tone. So there are some defaults to pick from. I go with friendly and concise, but you can always do your own custom. And then we have an open box for custom guidance. So think of these as special rules or edge cases where maybe they don't have a procedural flow like step by step, but you still want it to guide the AI agent's decision making. So for example, if a customer seems upset to a certain degree or has to repeat themselves more than twice, you know what? Let's automatically escalate that. Some businesses have a lower threshold, some businesses have a higher one. That's what you can drop into custom guidance. And then finally, guardrails, rules about competitors and custom secret detection. So how should the AI agent handle conversations it really shouldn't be having? That's what you can do with this. Now, we still allow you to test with our evaluations. We still have a ton of control over deployment. This is the smart routing that Amisha mentioned. So in the event that your AI shouldn't be handling all conversations, you tell it what it should handle. And then if there's no match, it goes right to a human agent. And then analyze, which I actually think we're going to talk about a little bit later. So I'll leave a little bit for the imagination, but don't forget, because we will come back. All right, back to you guys.
Thank you, Jillian. That is probably one of the biggest things we've released so far this year. It's like to see all that you can orchestrate, Jillian, on one screen, compared to the previous version is just incredibly powerful. And I would say for customers who are running our first version of Kustomer AI for customers, please talk to your CSM on getting access to this newest version. There will be, I believe, a migration, but there's no additional cost if you're already using the first version of the product. So I think this was your lead in to reporting enhancements. We've done a lot there as well. So it's one thing to have all these capabilities, but how do our leaders and managers know that it's working, right? So it's really important for us to update our reporting to allow you to see how AI is enhancing and improving your service operations. So with that, I'm going to toss it back to Amisha to talk about some of the newer enhancements we've done with reporting.
Yes, absolutely. The first thing I want to talk about is AI resolution rate. My goodness, like this is the metric that really matters and something we've been hearing so much from customers about. And AI resolution rate basically tells you what percentage of conversations AI fully resolved end to end, not deflective, not assisted, actually resolved. This is the clearest signal of automation coverage, business impact, and ROI. And now you can track it directly, compare configurations, and continuously improve. And then this brings me to topic reporting. Until now, understanding what customers are contacting you about meant manual tagging, analyst time, and reports that were already stale. Topic reporting eliminates all of that. AI automatically surfaces recurring themes from closed conversations, shows you which topics are driving satisfaction or frustration, and flags emerging spikes before they escalate. So, this means less time chasing signal, more time acting on it.
Yeah, so that was a sneak peek. That's actually something that's coming soon that we're really excited about with topic reporting. So thank you for taking us through that, Amisha. And next, we're going to go into MCP client. This is another big area of investment for us. So how do we expand and allow your AI agents to actually, get access to data and resolve cases faster without your reps having to switch tools? So Misha, explain to us more about the MCP client.
Yes, we are very excited about this one. MCP is essentially a universal connector for AI. It allows your agents to pull in knowledge from systems like Guru or Google Drive, trigger actions in external tools, and operate across your entire tech stack. So instead of AI being limited to one system, it becomes an orchestration layer across all of your systems. And I think all of this would make much more sense once Jillian is demoing us MCP clients. So over to you, Jillian.
Okay, back to the product. All right. So I lightly mentioned this before, but let's navigate over to MCP servers, which actually is customers' MCP client. What this means is that we can request information from other available MCP servers. Now, you can add a server from scratch, or you can discover servers from our existing library. I want to stress that these are not the only servers that customer can connect with. We just know that these are popular with our customers. So if you quickly take a look at this list and say, heck, I'm working with Notion already, great, connect it. So we give you an overview, the capabilities in the setup guide. If I hit connect, great, it's connected. And then you get an overview of the tools. So these tools are the same as these tools. It's the actions your AI agents can take. Resources, this is the data type that comes through. And then once these are connected, add them right in line with your procedures. So let's head over to build, and I can show you that in action. Let's say you had to check something first in your Notion. That's totally fine. At symbol. Oh, I think I have to turn it on first. Let's do tools. Let's enable all. Let's go to build. Eligible. And there they are. Those are all the tools that you get with the Notion MCP server.
That's great. And I appreciate, Jillian, that you showed and helped clarify. I said it gives you access to data. It's so much more than that. It's not only access to the data, but it's actually being able to take action on the data, which makes this so exciting for us and really powers AI agents in a big way. So thank you for taking us through that demo.
Yeah, absolutely. It enables automations to scale a lot easier. And again, it's that code-free approach. So you don't have to be worrying about endpoints and then error handling with that endpoint. These MCP servers and clients can just communicate with each other.
Amazing. So our next topic is similarly as powerful, AI assistants. So in the big, earlier at the end of last year, we rolled out a bunch of AI assistants, and now we continue down that path with 2 new AI assistants. So Misha, if you'll walk through some of the new AI assistants we have, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Very excited about our new AI assistants. The first one is AI Setup Assistant. We, of course, are heavily focusing on the admin experience as well. And we understand that deploying AI can sometimes require a lot of trial and error. And this is where the Setup Assistant is going to help you. It will help you get you started faster with best practice guidance. And then The second new AI assistant we have is the observability assistant. And this, in my opinion, is a game changer. It explains what your AI did, why it did it, and how to fix issues. So instead of debugging endless logs, you can just ask the system and get answers in plain language. And all of this would be much more exciting. So, Jillian, let's demo a new AI assistant.
Okay, so I said we were going to come back to the observability, and I wasn't lying. So let's demo how we analyze performance with the AI agent after you've released it to production. So we assess every turn from inbound message to outbound message, and we explain how the AI agent understood, perceived, reasoned, and then came up with its answer. So let's take a look at the conversation we had as we were Alex Mack. Remember, Alex was returning the hoodie. So let's look at this one. Yes, I want to return my last order, but I don't have the order ID. Let's see what the AI agent did to come up with the appropriate output. So traditionally, we've given you this sequence of events, this reasoning. And while this is helpful, and you do get the knack of this, come on, do you want to get the knack of this? So this is where the observability agent comes in. So let's generate the analysis. Okay, so the interaction is labeled overall as successful. And then here's a trace summary. It basically took all of that esoteric blah, 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 and turned it into something that you can actually understand. Pardon my blah, 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 but it's the easiest way to communicate it, right? So here's the request. This is the response, the reasoning. So the main agent followed the order of returns procedure, used the get customer orders tool to retrieve it, match the sweatshirt description to the most recent order, and ask the customer to confirm before moving forward. You can then visualize this. So has it actually sort of moved through its sequence? So we see it understood the intent, the main agent loaded, we realized we had to use a tool, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if I wanted to get a little bit more detailed here, I can pop up another assistant and I can further analyze this interaction. This is incredibly helpful when maybe the interaction is listed as unsuccessful. We would want to dive into that. And with a prompt, you can say, well, what went wrong? Now, nothing actually went wrong, so I'll let that run. But that's how you would handle this if you were trying to dig into understanding why the trace didn't really produce the results you wanted.
So, Jillian, you had one AI assistant analyzing another AI assistant. Did I get that correct?
Kinda, yeah. And that's a multi-agent approach.
That's crazy. So and also like the big shift that I saw was going from having to manually, I mean, it was better than logs, right? So you're not going through logs, but manually look at the drop downs to actually getting like a performance report on what the AI agent, how they handled a conversation.
Absolutely. And listen, customer has always provided this information, right? We've always exposed metadata, details, JSON to all of our customers, but it required folks to do a translation, literally or figuratively. What we're trying to do is make it as easy as possible to build what you want and understand how it's operating without having to do any of those mental translations by yourself. So yeah, I called the original trace blah 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 because it kind of is until we put the AI assistant on top of it.
Yeah. And then the AI assistant on the AI assistant. So
yeah.
So that's wrapping my head around that one, but okay.
Yeah. Good luck sleeping tonight.
Thanks for showing that. We're going to shift a little bit to AI for reps. So with AI for reps, this is AI assisting your human reps. And I know, Amisha, this is your baby. And today we're launching something new. So I'm so excited to toss it to you to tell us about what you've been working on.
Yes, yay. We're talking about AI for reps. Well, this is something that I think about every day, all day, during the night. And we are finally launching Signals. Signals gives reps intelligent insights into customer health, risk of escalation, engagement patterns. So instead of reacting to a conversation, reps can now go into it fully briefed about the customer history. And this would mean that reps can be proactive about how they should resolve a particular conversation because now they can take all of these signals into account. Let's say it's a frustrated customer. Why don't we tailor our response to account for that? That, hey, we are speaking to a frustrated customer at this point. So, signals is extremely powerful when you use it at the right time and you use it for conversations to basically be more proactive about them instead of being reactive. The next release is two-way translation enhancements. Moving to translations, we have made a big improvement to translations. Now, reps can translate the entire conversation with just one click. New messages that are coming in will be translated automatically. So reps don't have to click on button for every single message that they're seeing incoming or those that already exist on a conversation. Reps also see a more prominent translate button in the editor now. So instead of trying to find one tiny icon in the toolbar, they will see a more prominent button in the editor, which will help them stay in flow. So both of these enhancements are basically removing a lot of friction for global teams as they support customers globally. And this brings us to our last release for AI for reps. And this is currently in EAP, but we are going to GA this very soon. And we are getting really, really good feedback from the EAP customers, and that's Type Ahead. Type Ahead brings AI directly into the editor by suggesting full responses based on all of the conversation context, tone of guidance, if you have configured that. And all of this is happening in real time. So with Type Ahead, reps are spending less time typing and more time resolving. And now I'm going to pass it over to you, Jillian, to demo AI for reps.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And it's going to be my catchphrase at this point when I say back to the product. But here we are. So let's open up Signals. So it lives over here in the Insights panel. And we'll let that generate. Okay, so here are the signals. We have key insights and next steps, customer health and engagement, communication patterns, order and transaction activity, and then generally about the customer profile. So, and actually, this customer is pretty upset, and I'm not surprised. They reach out a lot. So, currently, they might need a little bit more help. So that's signals. Now, let's look at some of the other features that Amisha mentioned. So let's look at Type Ahead. So it looks like Alex reached out asking about how back ordering works, and she did it over SMS. So let's reply. And as you can see, I already have the Type Ahead option to begin with. So I can press the forward arrow, and I see, kind of like in ghost text here, what the right answer is. I could press tab and apply. Now let's go take a look at translations. So for folks that are using translations today or have looked at it in the past, you might recall that we would let you translate line by line, and that was helpful. But what if you could just have this big master button where you just translate everything instead of having to go line by line? Now you can always go back and view the original, but I just translated this from Dutch. Hello, can you tell me where my order is? I don't think I ever received a shipping or order confirmation. Ugh, maybe this is why things are negative with Alex. So, hello, Alex. Thank you. Looks like your last order is still in transit. And actually, Alex is actually saying, no problem, but can I send the product back before it arrives? I realize I should have ordered a different size. Now, if we were to reply, we could generate the message and look, Type Ahead is actually still active. And it looks like actually Type Ahead handled it in Dutch. Amazing. I could translate this back, but you know what? I like it in Dutch. That's the point. Okay.
Amazing. Thank you, Jillian. That was great. All right. Now that we have seen so much value that we are adding for AI for reps, I just want to quickly talk about our early access program. If you want to check out Type Ahead, you can do so today through our early access program. This is how you get hands on with new features before they're generally available. And more importantly, how your feedback shapes what we build next. To join, it's simple. Go to your settings, administration, organization, and then flip the toggle. And then all the early access features are free to try, and participation falls under our beta service terms. If you're curious about what's coming, this is the best way in, and you can opt out anytime.
Thanks, Amisha. Now we're going to move on to customer voice. We've talked a lot about customer AI. We've spent 50 minutes talking about all the great things in customer AI, but not to forget about other parts of our platform. So channels is a huge component, and we've had some enhancements there. So Amisha, tell us about what's been released for customer voice.
Absolutely. On the voice side, we have been focusing on visibility and control. With live call monitoring, supervisors can now see what's happening in real time, where the bottlenecks are forming, and take action immediately. We also expanded global coverage and added more customization.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think that the slides advanced pretty fast. Thank you for giving us sort of that summary of what's come with voice. And now we're moving on to platform and integration. So more things that we've released in this area. Amisha.
Yes. With the first release being rich links in chat, rich links is basically now when a link is shared in chat by an agent or a customer, it automatically expands into a rich preview. Page title, image, description, even pricing, where relevant. You can see all of that in the rich preview. For customers, all of this builds trust. They can see where they're headed before clicking. And for agents, it saves the back and forth of verifying a link before sending it. It's a small change, but it's a noticeable impact on every single interaction. And this brings me to Order Groove. The second area is that we're investing in is deeper integrations, and a great example of that is Order Groove. With this integration, your agents can now manage subscription orders directly inside customer. So instead of switching between systems, they can cancel or pause subscriptions, reschedule or skip upcoming orders, and see real-time subscription details right in the timeline. The key value here is eliminating context switching. Your agents stay in one place with full visibility and can take action immediately. And with that, we come to Q1 in review. Back to you, Caroline.
Thanks, Amisha. So today has been really a highlight of the things that we're really excited about, but it's not everything we've released. We've actually released 23 new product enhancements in the past quarter. And here's the detail. But not to worry, because if you go to our products updates webpage, you'll see a note for each of these items in full detail. So you'll be covered there, but this is really just to give you a snapshot of everything our product and engineering teams have been working on, hard at work, to continuing to enhance our platform. And we want to thank everyone for spending the past hour with us today. And I thank Amisha and Jillian for coming on and joining me to talk about all the great new releases and give us a live view of a demo of these actual products, which has been great. And if you have any more questions around anything we showed today and you're a customer, please reach out to your customer success manager. They will be more than happy to talk to you about any of these items and make sure that you get the access that you desire to any of these pieces. We also want to let people know that coming up this spring, we're going to be at Customer Contact Week at Caesars Forum Convention Center in Vegas. So if you happen to be there, please stop by and come visit us. The customer booth is 1102, but you'll probably see our sign. So please come by and say hi to us. We'd love to see you there if you are attending that event. And then looking forward, every quarter we bring to you highlights of what the product and engineering teams at Kustomer have released. And so we're looking at the end of June to be our next Kustomer quarterly for the summer. So thanks everyone for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you then.